Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a video that's a little bit different, and I'm actually going to be testing out an alternative image editing program. So recently BeFunky reached out to me and asked if I wanted to try their purely online editing platform. So I was really excited to try it out. I think it would be nice for me to do more videos where I do actually seek out image editing alternative programs, because as we all know, there are industry standards that a lot of people tend to stick to, and sometimes it's hard to find alternatives on the market. So I really wanted to give this a go and see what it can kind of produce in terms of edited images. So BeFunky did actually mention to me that they had one new tool that's actually supposed to be really good. It's an AI portrait enhancer, so you can basically edit a photo with the click of a button. So I'm going to be trying that out today. I'm very excited to try that out because as a retoucher, I feel like it's nice to be able to save time on things. However, this editing platform is really going to be directed towards more enthusiasts or photography enthusiasts, or maybe if you're a makeup artist and you don't potentially want to spend a lot of money on a monthly subscription with other editing software, this could be a really good way to try and edit your photos. And for even photographers who have quite a big workload, so like wedding and event photographers, from what I've seen so far, this could be really good for you. So we're going to get straight into this video now, and I'm going to test out BeFunky, which is an online editing program. So let's get into the video. Okay, so we're gonna get straight into this. Actually, I probably don't even need my tablet. I don't know why I'm using this today. I'm just so used to always getting it out whenever I have to edit an image. But I've opened my image in BeFunky. So this is what the online platform looks like when you first get into it. So I've opened my image, and I really want to test out this one-click portrait enhancer. I just want to see how it goes first before I do any other types of editing. I might do a couple of versions where I try out the portrait enhancer first and see how that goes. I know that they do have the AI image enhancer, which I think is a little bit different. I think that's less to do with perfecting skin tones and things like that, and more with the lighting within the image. So you know what, I'm just going to test out both and see how they both go. But I am really excited to try the portrait enhancer. But just before I do, I'm just going to go through some of the tabs here. So we've got your image manager up the top here, where you can import stock images or your own images. There is the edit tab, where it looks like you've got anything from crop, resize, enhancing, color, vibrance, sharpen, clarity. So quite a lot of what is available in other editing platforms as well. Smoothing, blur, lens blur. There seems to be quite a lot here. There is also the touch up tab, and we've got perfect skin, wrinkles, blemish fix, bronzer, blush. Okay, I'm really excited to use all of these because I feel like all of this kind of thing is used with beauty photography and beauty retouching. Mascara, eye color. So it looks like you can really go in depth here in terms of doing editing on an image. This is definitely no Facetune or anything like that. I feel like this is a little bit more in depth. And then we've also got the effects here on the side. So you've got all your different tonings that you can kind of choose from, which looks to be quite a few there. And you've got artsy, which is kind of like effects, different effects that you can apply to your images. Frames, graphics, overlays. So you can just do lots of different themed things for promoting your work potentially on social media at different times of year and things like that. You've got the text tab and textures, which you can overlay on the top. So I am very excited to start editing with this. Keeping in mind that, as I said, this may not be necessarily directed towards professionals, but definitely for enthusiasts out there or people who are looking at doing more with their photography, this might be something that is interesting for you. So going back to the touch up tab, introducing our new AI powered portrait enhancer. In a single click, it'll enhance your entire image while intelligently retouching your photo's subject. Our AI portrait enhancer will even out skin tones, reduce blemishes, brighten teeth and eyes, and more, all while maintaining the skin's natural appearance. I like the sound of this. If this can turn my 3 hours worth of editing into like a second, then I'm all for this. So let's give it a go. I'm gonna click on it. Oh my God, I'm actually nervous to see what this kind of produces right now. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see the texture here that's still left. So this is quite heavy, I feel, for this particular portrait. Maybe on some portraits this might be okay, but I'm going to move down this here, which it looks like you can adjust it. Oh my gosh, okay. Yeah, okay. So We don't want it at 100%, but if I bring that down to say about midway, I feel like that's quite good. So I'm gonna click apply, and then I'm going to go to the history tab here and go back to the original image. Oh, I'll zoom in a bit further for you guys so you can actually see. Wow, okay. So you can see that it has softened a bit of the skin tone, but it really hasn't done too much in the way of like blurring the skin or making it smudged or anything like that, like a lot of filters that I've used before on certain images. So that's quite good overall. I'm gonna do another before and after so you guys can see what that one click has done. I feel like it's just rendered my retouching career a little bit useless. Kidding. Wow, so it's just brightened up a lot of the shadows. It's really been very targeted though. Like it said, it has brightened up the eyes as well. I can definitely see there's a good difference there, and it doesn't take away all the texture. I can still see some of the bumps and blemishes, which is kind of good because we've sort of moved the slider down a little bit to make sure we haven't applied too much of it. So I think overall though, it's really applying the highlights and the lighting in all the right places, and it's really given it that slight soft feeling, kind of like how Dodge and Burn does give it that little bit of an evenness. So I'm gonna actually play around with some of the other tools at the moment. And while I'm in touch up, I'm going to start using a couple of the tools here. So we might go, I'm gonna just try Perfect Skin first. If I click and drag, oh my gosh. Oh my God, that's actually, oh wow. That's actually getting rid of the bumps, and like it's not removing the texture. Okay, I've got to see a before and after, because sometimes I feel like my eyes, when you look at something for too long on a screen, sometimes it can kind of make your eyes go a bit funny, and I know that's me definitely. So I'm going to get up the history tab again. I'm gonna just press apply, and then we'll go back to the last step. Okay, that's actually pretty impressive. And going back to the beginning, well, just thinking about all those times I've spent 3 hours on images, you know, with the healing tools, doing my head in. This is actually very good. I think, like everything, it's probably important to not go too far with this. I think you could probably go too far with it very easily, but that's basically like using any editing program, and it's just kind of knowing when to pull back with certain things. But for makeup artists out there, potentially that want to retouch their own images, this could be a really great tool for you. I'm gonna keep using it because I actually really like it. It just, oh my gosh, like I hope you guys can see what this is doing. I'm gonna just apply that again and go back to the original, and you guys can see it's kind of like, it's giving a similar sort of effect as using the paintbrush tool in PS and actually going over some of the bumps and softening them that way. It's almost like it's not removing the texture, which the paintbrush tool can tend to do. So I'm just like kind of dumbfounded as to how I maybe haven't used something like this before, and it just looks so natural. So I mean, yeah, wow. If you didn't really want to go into the depths of using Dodge and Burn and spending 3 hours on a photo, this could be amazing. And I'm just like starting to wonder, where was this tool when I was doing weddings and events? Okay, so we're going to test out a few of the other tools here because I'm super excited now to start using some of these other ones here. Wrinkles, not that we have too many to deal with really in this image, but I'm going to just see how they kind of perform underneath the eye here. I'm going to move the brush size down a little bit more. And we're going to just move it, I guess, dragging over them. I mean, that's not bad. It is definitely softening the slight wrinkle underneath the eye, but if you go very close in on that one, I think you'd have to be very careful of using this particular tool. But still, like, I'm not mad at that. I'm really not mad at that at all. Let me just apply that, and I'll show you guys another before and after of that. So it's really softened it. Let's just see what it looks like, kind of like zoomed out a bit more. Yeah, I mean, it's not super noticeable that you can see that it's a little bit more blurred there, but that could be a really effective tool. I would just caution maybe going too far with it. The Perfect Skin tool seems to be a really good tool anyway, so I'd probably just use that for a lot. Let's go to Blemish Fix though. And I'm assuming this might not be so much for bumps or raised areas of skin, but maybe more so for discolored parts of skin, maybe a little bit of acne or some redness. Not really too much that we have to work with here in this particular image, but there's just a little bit of redness here. So I'm just gonna zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, that's quite good. Like when this works better than the healing tools. Oh, I'm just thinking of all those painful times that I've spent editing some of my images, and the healing tools have just really not gone my way on certain days. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring up another before and after there because that's looking like a really good tool as well. So I'm gonna go back to the before and after. You can see that's just eliminated those little blemishes altogether. So I feel like with the AI Portrait Enhancer, it already has brightened the eyes a bit, but I feel like I just want to try this out. And I'm gonna see what this kind of does to the eye. So I'm just making the brush a bit bigger, and then I'm just gonna, oh, ooh. Okay, you can use Control Z, by the way, to undo things, which is great. The way that I just brighten this eye, it's like it only brightens in certain areas, which is a really cool thing. So it's not brightening the whole thing where it makes it look odd. I'm just gonna move over to the other one, and awesome. So you can see what that's done. It's really just gotten the brighter areas of the eye. So it hasn't made it look too doll-like or too fake. Yeah, I like it. I'm not really one for using a lot of makeup adjustments, but why not? Let's try lipstick and strength down a little bit. That's actually really, really good. I'm gonna apply that and show you guys what that's done, and that's quite subtle. That's a really good way of bringing out the makeup a little bit more in a portrait, and that's just so quick. I just feel like this is kind of like a one-click deal, and I'm really liking it. I really wanna try the hair color option as well. Let's try that. We'll click the darker shade for now and see how that goes, and I'm just gonna run. Oh, I see. I might choose the brown. Oh, I see it's already applied the mask. Oh, the brown looks good. I'm just gonna tick that and go back, show you guys what that looks like before and after. I mean, I'm really not hating these adjustments at all. I'm actually really impressed considering the fact that this is all online and it's taken me all of 10 minutes to remove quite a lot of things that would take me potentially a lot longer in other programs. So I am pretty impressed with how easy this is to use and how natural it does actually look in the end, because that's one thing that I had as a bit of a fear going into this as well with using a JPEG image. You can't use a PSD, or you cannot use a raw image going into this program, which is fine for enthusiasts like I was saying. Overall, I am pretty happy with how those tools are performing. I guess overall those are some of the main ones that I would probably use as a beauty photographer, but I can see if you were a landscape photographer or potentially a photographer of a different genre, there could be many different types of adjustments here that you could use, especially in the editing panel. I mean, you've got so much that you can really adjust for different types of landscape photos, or potentially even if you were doing weddings or events. I think that this would be a really quick way of editing your images, which is really cool. I'm going to do a start to finish edit because I want to show you guys what everything looks like put together, and I'm really excited to actually use some of these effects as well. So just like, I want to just test out a few of the analog tones because I'm a sucker for film tones. You can sort of adjust how much you want of it. So I actually really like that. I'm gonna go back to the original image here. I'm actually really liking how this is looking so far. One other thing that I noticed that was really cool is in the textures panel, and you can go to light leaks, and I'm also a sucker for light leaks as well. I love them so much. I know for a lot of people it's gimmicky, but for me I actually love adjusting and using light leaks. So I think this is actually a really cool function too for certain types of photos. There's just so many really cool, interesting effects here that you can kind of use on your images. And like I said, for people who have a lot of batch edits, or for people that just love to be creative with your photography, or you're an enthusiast, this is the kind of program that could really suit you over other image editing programs I think that are out there at the moment, especially if you don't want to go too in depth with your editing. But having said that, from what I've used in the touch-up panel, I feel like some of those tools are quite professional looking, and I was quite surprised by how some of them look. So you've seen some of my first impressions now with BeFunky's online editing program. I am going to now go and do a full edit of an image of mine, and we're going to do start to finish. I am just going to test the AI image enhancer before we start, because we've tested the AI portrait enhancer, but I do want to see how the image enhancer goes as well with one click. And I think that this is a little bit different to the portrait enhancer. This is more or less to do with the lighting, I think, in the image, not so much the skin tones and actually perfecting the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a one click. Okay, so that is at 100%, so that's quite heavy, but if we bring that slider down, say 40%, yeah, that just really looks like it's kind of dodged certain areas and burned certain areas of the image to give it a little bit more depth and to give a little bit more detail back in the dark areas of the hair. So that's cool to know that there's an option out there for images where you can just one click and it's done. Like, I'm just thinking of all the times that this really would have come in handy for myself, even for doing social media images and posts and things like that, where you don't want to get into other programs and spend 8 hours editing certain things. The ease of this is just so crazy. So yeah, I'm going to get into doing a full portrait edit now, and we'll see how we go starting from scratch again. So I'm going to go straight to what is my favorite tool, I think, so far, and that's under the touch up tab, and I'm going to go up to the perfect skin. I just, like, from how this performed before, I was very impressed. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to try and do a lot of the skin with this. I'm actually going to use my tablet again for this though, and I'm going to run that over some of these blemishes. I'm just seriously in awe with how it performs. So I'm just going to really lightly though go over some of these bumps, and I wonder if it works on the hairs over here too. Oh my gosh, it does. I really like this tool. I'm actually so keen to just do the entire skin editing with this one tool. Like, I don't even think I need to get the wrinkle tool, because this tool is just so good. I'm just going to focus on removing some of that really heavy texture on the skin, and we'll see what it does. It actually does remove some of the wrinkles. That's crazy. It's insane the way it just softens this texture. Like, it's not removing the texture though. That's what I think I was worried about at first, that this was going to get rid of too much texture, but this is not doing that at all. Obviously, I think with anything you do have to be fairly light-handed, as with any other tools. Wow. So this is pretty much a lot of the skin editing that I've done so far, and it has been with a single tool. So I'm going to zoom right in for you guys so you can still see the texture, because I know it's always hard to see when I'm zoomed out, but look at the texture that's still there. I'm going to show you guys before and after. I'm going to place the tick over here, and we're going to go back to the original image, and like, look at that. It's just like, it's literally a one-step tool. Hands down my favorite tool. So that's most of the skin retouching done using one tool in particular, and that is the Perfect Skin tool. I haven't even used the Blemish Fix tool, which is just insane. I'm gonna bring a little bit more of a sharpen back though, so I wanna use the sharpen tool to do that. I think that might be under edit. I'm gonna bring it down. We don't want it to be too sharp. It's crazy, like the detail that's still remaining, I'm really, really impressed by. I'm gonna go back to touch up now. I'm gonna go to paintbrush and see what this does. So I don't know if this might fill in some of the shadows a little bit. We're just gonna fill in these shadowed areas here, and where it's still a little bit uneven, click the tick and then go back. So yeah, that's brightened it up really well. I'm gonna use the paintbrush again, just on the areas just up here where I think it needs a little bit of brightening. And I'll make the brush size a little bit bigger again. And we're just gonna brighten up some of the shadows over here, just slightly. I'm gonna click OK, and we'll go back just to show you guys what that's done. It's just brightened up a few areas of the skin just to even out that a little bit more. What I'm gonna do next is actually use the lipstick again, because I feel like this worked really well last time, and I'm just gonna put it really lightly over the lips, just to kind of make them pop a little bit more. And I really wanna test out the mascara. I think it actually just allows you to darken it, which is really cool. I'm gonna show you guys what both of those things have done, so you can see the mascara is just darkened a bit and the lips have been a little bit more saturated, so that's so easy to do that. I'm just thinking the only thing that I really want to tidy up a little bit more is the hair, but I think the best way to do this might actually be with the paintbrush again. And this time we're going to eyedropper the backdrop color. I'm just gonna do what I would do in most other editing programs. Maybe the opacity up a bit more. It's actually really creating a very soft effect, which is good because I don't want to remove all the hair because sometimes that can look a little bit strange. So I'm gonna apply that and show you guys the before and after, the full before and after of the image so far. I'm really liking how natural this is looking, and when we zoom in, you can see that all the texture is still intact. So this is a really great tool for quick editing too. So you can see we've just removed the main blemishes, softened the hair on the sides, and now I'm going to color grade the image. So for the fun part, let's go into the effects and let's go into analog tones. I feel like the one that's going to best suit it is going to be this one here. I'm going to move it to around there, and going back, you can see what that's done. It's just given it a really nice color grade. One thing that I might do just to give it a little bit more of a punch is actually just to sharpen again. So I'm gonna go back to edit and we're gonna bring that down a little bit though. Okay, so I might just brighten the image up a little bit. So we'll go to the edit tab that we're on and we'll go to levels. This is very much like other editing programs, and I might just give it a little bit more brightness on the max input there. So I'm gonna zoom in so you guys can see a better view here. I might just move the gamma down back just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to do a quick before and after now, guys. So I'll zoom out again for you in a second, but for now, I'll just show you what everything's looking like closer up. So this is the before, and then this is the after. I'm gonna zoom in even further. This is the before, and then that is the after from what we've done. I've only been editing here for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm sure you could go a lot further with this program and really make use of the tools within it. I'm pretty impressed by the amount of texture that it leaves, considering those skin editing tools, you know, are so quick. I'm just gonna do another quick before and after. So that's the before, and that's the after, and zooming out, before and after. Okay guys, well, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do to see all the videos that I have coming up in future. If you want me to do more videos like this where I try out alternative editing software, please let me know, because I actually really enjoy testing out different programs, and I've really had a good experience today with using BeFunky. I think that this is a great program for anyone out there who is an enthusiast, like I said before, or maybe you're a makeup artist or another creative that doesn't want to delve into the specifics of other editing programs and learning how to use all the different tools that come along with that. This is a very simple and quick way of editing your photos, so it's something that I can recommend after having tried it now, and I feel like it's very simple and so easy to use. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about BeFunky, I've left some links in the description box below so you guys can go and check it out for yourself there. So I've had a really good experience using BeFunky today, and yeah, like I said, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!